Harimi, harimi, al tirai, harimi, al tirai. Imri le'arei Yehuda, hine Elokeichem. Harimi, harimi, al tirai.
Okay, page 324, and we're in the middle of speaking about Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden, and we learned that the opinion of the Ramchal is that the Garden of Eden is not a physical place in this world. It still exists, but it's on a different plane of existence, and that what we call spiritual, that was Adam Harishon's, that was Adam's physical, what we call spiritual, and what his spirituality was on an even higher level, and we can't even understand really that level that he was on. So if you want to go searching for the Garden of Eden somewhere in Africa, you're not going to find it because it's on a different plane of existence. So you're just really wasting your time. So now we're going to continue that conversation. Also, before we start, we also learned that there are really three general levels of human beings. The three general levels are Adam before he sinned. That's the middle level. The level we're on now, which is the lowest level, which is Adam after he sinned. And the level that Adam would have been on had he not sinned, which is a level which is very, very high, which we'll eventually return to after Olam Haba. So now the Ramchal here is going to continue his discussion of what was going on in the Garden of Eden, because when you read the Chumash, it's talking about Adam Rishon eating fruits and this and that. So we're saying it was on a spiritual level. How exactly did that happen and what was going on there? V'amnam. This is the idea of the two trees. Eitz HaChaim ve'Eitz HaDaas, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge. For sure, you have to read the verses as a simple meaning. Right? Some questionable people have said, this is not a new thing, but even the Rashba writes about it. The Rashba was a rabbi in the 1300s. He writes about how some people wanted to say the stories at the beginning of Genesis were metaphors and parables. That is, and the Rashba strongly condemns such a view. To say that anything in the Chumash, the stories didn't happen, is very, very bad. So he says, for sure, you read the verses simply as they say. Va'etzim etzim hayu. The trees, they were trees. Va'peros peros. The fruit, they were fruit. Va'achila achila. The eating that they did was eating. Ach peros dakim va'achila daka. However, the eating was a very refined eating. Masha'ein machshavteinu mitzayeres. That which our thoughts cannot understand. Our minds can only create images of physical things. We can't create an image of a physical being. You can't create an image of an angel in your head. All you can think about is, what you've seen as portrayed as angels in TV and movies, which is not an angel is, right? You think of an angel, you think of something with wings, and you think of maybe Ben Affleck in Dogma and other. He played an angel in Dogma in 1998. But to really, what an angel really is, we can't make an image in our head about that. We can only make images of physical things. Amnam. However, even in the physical world, especially in the physical world, when we eat fruit, physical fruit, they have effects. For example, for health, there's certain herbs you eat, certain medicinal things, it helps the body. They have certain segulos, certain effects. And they have wondrous effects in the body. So even these fruits which were in the Garden of Eden, which again were on a different plane of existence, so it was fruit, it was a tree, and it was eating, but it wasn't the same eating that we do. It was a very refined type of eating. But when you ate from them, it had an effect on creation. The tree of life, if a person would have eaten, if Adam would have eaten from the tree of life, it would have entered in his heart a closeness to Hashem and a love of Hashem, and a knowledge of how to follow God's ways. And the body, the person would be totally separated from physical pleasures. Right now, physical drives. We have physical drives as a part of us. Had Adam eaten from the tree of life, all those drives would have disappeared. It would just be a drive for spirituality, to get close to Hashem, and he would have had a great understanding of God. Ve'etz HaDaas, the tree of knowledge, which he did eat from, lahefech is the opposite. Hayapiryo machnis belev hatayvus. Its fruit would cause physical pleasures to become part of the body. Hagufanis v'achamrios v'chalat chataim, and physicality and all the sins. Before Adam sinned, the evil inclination and certain drives within a person were outside of the body. It was an external force which tried to entice. Once Adam ate from the tree of knowledge, it became part of a human being. Now let's say, what would have happened if Adam would have eaten from the tree of life? Not from the tree of knowledge. He would have gotten closer to Hashem and become holier and holier. He would have become close to the holiness of his Creator. And he would benefit and enjoy the splendor of God's holiness for all of eternity and never being separated from it.
So why didn't, I guess, second question, why after he ate from tree of knowledge, why wouldn't he eat from a tree of life? Why wouldn't Hashem make him eat that and fix up?
So now, since he did a sin, he had to rectify the sin that he did. He had to do tshuva. He had to atone for it. But not only him, his descendants. We're still in that process of atonement. He did a very bad sin by rebelling in what God asked him to do, so he can't just fix it up. And we're going to learn that since evil entered his body, a human being has to die, and that's the only way to actually extricate that evil from the body. So even people who can technically never sin, they still have that aspect of the sin that Adam did, that they have to die to get that from their body. So first, before we eat from the Eitz HaChaim, we have to return to the level where Adam was before he sinned, and only after that can we, quote unquote, eat from the Eitz HaChaim, where we can go to an even higher level.
Is that why the reason why people die?
Yes, exactly why people die. Had Adam not eaten from the tree of knowledge, people would not have died. People would not die. Okay. Now, what did he do? Adam ate from the tree of knowledge. Nishka b'taivas hagufanis became entrenched with physical pleasures, and he loves physicality. Now people like physicality. Everyone tonight's going to be loving their nachos and chili and whatever they're eating, because we love physicality. Had Adam not eaten from the Eitz HaChaim, there would be no Super Bowl, there would be no nachos and whatever. And this is measure for measure. Adam lost his great lofty spiritual level. So he became physical. For a certain amount of days, that was decreed on him. So it's interesting that he chooses the word a certain amount of days, because so far it's been 5,783 years. But until the sin is satisfied, until he atones for his sin, then he'll get better. The general rule that we say, since he got punished, he's like your brothers. He's like your brother. That's referring to a Gemara Makkas that once a person gets punished for a sin, then he returns to be an upstanding member of Klal Yisrael, the Jewish people. So you have a person who violated a negative commandment in the Torah, and he was warned, and there were witnesses. They take him, they make him pretty much naked in front of the town, and they lash him. It's very embarrassing. But once he does that, he's not considered an evil person anymore. He got his punishment, assumingly he did tshuva. He's part of the Jewish people again. So once humanity, which we're all descendants of Adam, we will atone for that sin and return to that level. As Yoshev le'esanu harishon, he'll return to what he was at the beginning. And then he will get to attain that level, which you were asking, of an even higher level, had he not sinned, and even from the Eitz HaChaim, had he not sinned. Okay, just want to do a couple more paragraphs, because it's really going to conclude this topic. This is all the first type of evil. We talked about two types of evil earlier, a few weeks ago. The second type of evil is destruction, like we explained. But Teda, you should know, this evil and destruction could only happen once a person is in this physical state which we are in now. Evil would not have befallen Adam had he retained his lofty state. Any, like we just said, any form above this, evil would not have an effect. Since Adam was created on this very lofty level, Adam, before he ate from the Eitz Daas, he did not get sick. Bad things did not happen to him. Evil was separate. Did not impact him. Since Adam it sounds like, I believe he's saying that evil was created, it had the potential to affect Adam, but yet it didn't affect him yet because he was still on that lofty level. V'nimtza shechidish mitchila adon baruchu hashpa hatzricha. That Hashem made, we talked about that everything in creation, eventually the source of everything is Hashem's emanations. So he says, for sure Hashem created these emanations, what it had to be. Hashem, right, we said that Adam really should have been at this highest level, had he eaten from the tree of life. And he says that level, the emanations were already created from the beginning of the potential for Adam to reach that high level. And he had the potential in Adam. But Hashem wanted to make him on a lower level. Now, the lower level which Hashem made Adam is still a higher level than we're on now. Hashem did not make man initially on what his potential is, but he made him on a on a lower level. And what was the reason? Because he wanted man to elevate himself. He wanted to give man the opportunity to not eat from the Eitz Daas and eat from the Eitz Chaim, to have that free will and make a choice so that he could rectify himself. So Hashem made this emanation, let's call it potential energy, that Adam be on this exalted level, but he limited it. He made it smaller, weakened its power. So he created Adam on this lower level. The main idea is this emanation, which had the power to make Adam on an extremely lofty level, Hashem held back. Not because it was a weaker emanation. It's not right. You could learn that Hashem gave a weaker emanation to Adam, and that's why he was on this lower level. That's not how it worked. Hashem gave the most powerful emanation, but he held it back. He gave that potential energy that if he would have done the right thing, then it would have released, and he would have gone to this higher level. This is not called bringing down. It was like an external thing which was preventing all of this hashpa from coming to light. Even though it was fit to have this perfect effect, it was held back because of this evil which was created, that caused this him being on a lower level. This is like the verses say, Sor Yilantcha Teshi, that you've weakened the mighty one, so to say. Mebilti Yecholas Hashem, the nations of the world will say Hashem can't do it. The rabbis say, it's similar to say that Hashem's power, obviously as a metaphor, was weakened like a woman, meaning he has the power to do it, but he held back. And once Hashem made this lower, held back this emanation, that gave the potential for evil to happen. I just want to finish one last thing. What was Adam thinking? He ate from the Eitz Daas. God tells you one thing: don't eat from this tree. So part of it was that he thought, what do you want to do? He wants to make a Kiddush Hashem. He wants to sanctify God's name. He wants to do. He was good. He wanted to do the best thing. What could be a bigger Kiddush Hashem than having evil as part of myself and still overcoming it? Having a bigger Yetzer Hara and overcoming it. He thought in his mind that made a lot of sense. I'm going to make a bigger Kiddush Hashem. It's going to be even better. But he made the mistake. The mistake was that no, even if maybe it would be a bigger Kiddush Hashem, it doesn't matter. Hashem tells you to do something, you have to, follow exactly what Hashem tells you, and that's one of the ways the Yetzer Hara gets us. We think in our minds, this will be better. It'll come out better in the end. I have to bend some of the rules a little bit, but in the end, it'll come out better. No, God doesn't need you to work things out. Just do what He says, and everything will be okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for coming.